Present.
Regent Beam.
Here.
Regent Bernstein.
Present.
Regent Brown.
Here.
Regent Hubbard.
Here.
Regent Illich.
Here.
Regent Myers.
Present.
Regent White.
Here.
It's been a busy 5 weeks, and every day I'm energized by the work of so many to demonstrate that we are the premier public university in the country. I've had a very rewarding conversation with many individuals, with faculty leaders, deans, directors, student leaders, staff, coaches, and donors. There is a deep desire to broaden our impact and move us forward, which is why so many of my top priorities are being developed right now. I look forward to meeting with more members of the community, including more students, as the fall semester begins. Today's meeting includes a transition in board leadership. I would like to thank Regent White for her service as board chair. Kathy, this may have been one of the most unique years in U of M history, with enormous demands on the chair. We're grateful for your steady hand.
I just want to make a
You want to make a comment? Okay,
comment. Oh, but you're still giving your
I
presentation.
am, but you
Okay, no,
can,
finish.
okay,
But I'd like to make some remarks. upon
okay,
chair.
of course. Regent Bernstein will now pick up the baton. Mark, I've enjoyed our recent conversations and look forward to working even more closely with you in your new role as chair. Recruiting.
I don't know my cat.
Recruiting and selecting the next president is a tremendous responsibility, and your experience and expertise will provide critical leadership. Leadership was a strong theme at our President's Medal of Excellence luncheon earlier this week. We honored 5 extraordinary individuals: Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from Michigan's 6th Congressional District, Jalen Rose, a philanthropist and sportscaster who was a member of the Fab Five basketball team, alumni Fred and Judy Wilpon, longtime donors and founders of the Kessler Scholars Program that supports first-generation college students, and Dr. Francis Collins, who was director of the National Institutes of Health for 12 years. And more importantly, he was a distinguished member of our faculty in the 80s and 90s. Dr. Collins had some powerful words about the critical value of and need for scientific research in this country. Medical and scientific discoveries throughout the decades are what have established American universities as the best in the world. He also spoke of the Michigan culture being rigorous and bold, as well as taking calculated risks. Dr. Collins called on all of us to stand up for the pursuit of knowledge, the joy of discovery, and the life-changing impact of research and education. It was a perfect summation to who we are as a public university. All of this activity is the essence of the University of Michigan and our mission to serve the world, and is reflected in the budgets we are bringing forward today for your approval. We are investing more deeply in our students who will leave here to contribute to our communities in ways that we can only imagine. We are increasing support for faculty and staff to ensure they have the resources they need to succeed in a work environment that is engaging, supportive, and safe. And we are broadening our commitment to Michigan families that a Michigan education is affordable and attainable. Provost McCauley will provide more details about our budget strategy later in the meeting, along with Chancellor Scarlatta and Alexander. One final note before we turn to our presentation. Today's agenda includes the adoption of several faculty retirement memoirs, including one for Dan Little. As you know, Dan was the chancellor of the University of Michigan Dearborn for 18 years, the longest tenure in the university's history. In addition to being an accomplished scholar, he is a thoughtful leader who has made significant contributions to elevating U of M Dearborn's impact in southeastern Michigan. When I succeeded him as chancellor in 2018, I inherited a university that was in terrific shape, and I'll always be grateful for that. He is truly deserving of a happy and healthy retirement. I'll turn it over to Regent Illich, who wanted to say a few words.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank our chair, Kathy White, and I wanted to make a few remarks. I've worked with Kathy now for 17 years, so we are very seasoned on this board, and her experience has proven to be invaluable. The historical perspective and all that we've gone through the years has really been critical in what you had talked about, what a tough couple years we've had. She's very can-do. She makes things happen. And when Kathy says she's going to do something, she does it. And I never wonder how she feels about something. I find that really refreshing that she shares her opinion and we know exactly where she stands. She is, in the military, which we very much appreciate, and she brings that military discipline and rigor to this job. She's a, servant in that situation, and she's been a public servant for 25 years, which I think is pretty remarkable. And so I just want to thank you for a job well done.
Thank you, Denise. Mm-hmm. Means so much. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Regent Illich.
Thank you.
I'd now like to invite Provost Macaulay to introduce today's presentation.
Thank you, President Grasso. It's my pleasure to introduce Tom Finholt, our Senior Vice Provost for Academic and Budgetary Affairs and Professor of Information in the School of Information. Tom and his budget team work collaboratively with our entire campus in setting and implementing policy pertaining to academic and budgetary issues. Before taking on his current role, Tom served in a variety of leadership roles at the university, including Dean of the School of Information, Associate Dean for Research and Innovation, and Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. Tom will be presenting today about the value of a Michigan education. Welcome, Tom. We're eager to hear your presentation.
Great. Thank you, Provost Macaulay, for that generous introduction, and thank you to the members of the Board of Regents for this opportunity to talk about the value of a University of Michigan Ann Arbor degree. Public skepticism about higher education has never been higher. A 2023 Gallup survey found that Americans' confidence in higher education has fallen to 36% overall. Many are now asking, is a college degree still worthwhile? Contrary to these doubts, there is good news. Based on data about our alumni and analyses by leading research institutes and government agencies, the evidence conclusively shows that a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan Ann Arbor is affordable, rewarding, valuable, and in demand. Now as ever, the Michigan Ann Arbor degree remains a wise investment for students and their families. The University of Michigan Ann Arbor degree is the least expensive among the state's 15 public four-year institutions for resident undergraduates who rely on financial aid to afford college. According to the most recent Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System survey, where IPEDS is the definitive federal data set on higher education, University of Michigan Ann Arbor's net price is the least expensive for resident undergraduate students from families of incomes between $0 and $75,000, and is the third least expensive for students from families with income of between $75,000 and $100,000. And in that case, trailing only Michigan Dearborn and Michigan Flint, our fellow state leaders in affordability. These gains are the result of our commitment to financial aid programs like the Go Blue Guarantee, a national exemplar that was recently expanded to provide free tuition for resident undergrad students from families with incomes of up to $125,000. The Go Blue Guarantee was also expanded to provide full cost of attendance support for qualifying students in the Marcel Family School of Education and in the School of Nursing, deepening our commitment to students pursuing careers in critical public service professions. We are the only public four-year institution in Michigan that guarantees to meet full financial need for resident undergraduate students. As a result, undergraduate residents with family incomes of up to $180,000 typically pay less than sticker price, encompassing households between $57,000 and $170,000 that the Pew Research Center defines as middle class. University of Michigan Ann Arbor graduates overwhelmingly describe their educational experience as rewarding. A 2023 survey of Michigan Ann Arbor alumni who graduated in 2013 and 2018 indicated that 87% were satisfied with their educational experience, 90% were satisfied with their careers so far, and 90% believe they work in a position that is meaningful. Additionally, as a result of their education, 94% of respondents believe their critical thinking skills improved. 88% believe they strengthened their communication skills, and over 80% believe their teamwork and decision-making improved. These are all essential skills for the modern workforce. The essential skills a student receives at the University of Michigan Ann Arbor translate to tremendous economic value over time. According to the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce, the definitive research institute for insights on educational attainment in the workforce, Michigan Ann Arbor graduates achieve a lifetime return on their investment of approximately $2.8 million over their careers, $1 million more than those who receive bachelor's degrees from other public and private institutions. The University of Michigan Ann Arbor degree value is also demonstrated by the leading Michigan and global companies that hire our graduates and by the critical industries where our graduates are employed. A recent analysis by Stepping Blocks Incorporated, a national consulting firm, found that Michigan Ann Arbor has over 116,000 alumni currently working in Michigan, with the largest Michigan-based employers indicated as General Motors, Ford Motor Company, Michigan Medicine, Corewell Health, and the Henry Ford Health System. More broadly, our alumni are also well represented in Fortune 500 companies with Amazon, GM, Ford, Dow Chemical, and DTE indicated most frequently. It's also important to note the outsized impact graduates from our Flint and Dearborn campuses have on our state, where both of those campuses report the vast majority of their graduates remaining in Michigan to pursue their careers. Demand for college graduates continues to grow. According to the Georgetown Center on Education and the Workforce Future of Good Jobs Projections through 2031 report, the number of jobs that require a four-year degree is projected to increase by 15.6 million by 2031. Over the same period, the Georgetown study anticipates a decline in jobs requiring less than a four-year degree. The perception of value is also reflected in the 2024 Illumina Gallup survey of adults without college degrees that indicated approximately 73% of those respondents viewed a bachelor's degree as either extremely or very valuable. We began with the question of whether a college degree is worthwhile. As this brief overview shows, a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan Ann Arbor is affordable, rewarding, valuable, and in demand. Outcomes for Michigan Ann Arbor graduates demonstrate the critical role that higher education plays in preparing students for careers that increasingly require a four-year degree. Thanks again for this opportunity to speak with you today. I'd like to also thank the Office of Institutional Research and the Provost Budget Team for their help in preparing this presentation. I'm happy to take any questions or comments.
No questions? Tom, thank you very much for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
We will move on with the supplemental 2025-26 budget agenda. Provost McCauley will begin with presentations for the Ann Arbor General Fund operating budget.
Thank you, President Grasso. If I could have the first slide. I'm pleased to present the fiscal year 26 general fund budget and housing rates for the Ann Arbor campus. This is a budget that highlights our efforts to achieve academic excellence with thoughtful fiscal management. In a time of leadership transition, a shifting federal landscape, and economic and legislative uncertainty, our mission remains our beacon. Our sense of shared purpose and resilience has been essential as we plan for fiscal year 26. This proposed budget was developed with careful input, guidance, and counsel from many across our campus, including our board members. We move forward together as the leading public institution for academic excellence and affordability. We move forward with the confidence that whether we consider research funding, state support, or our students' tuition dollars, an investment in the University of Michigan offers high return. I would like to share with you some of the strategic investments in key areas that this budget proposal makes possible. As we pursue our goal to provide life-changing education, investing in our students is a high priority. In fiscal year 26, we broaden our investment in programs and services that enrich the U of M experience and promote student success. We're enhancing academic advising, increasing the capacity of our testing accommodation center, and launching robust new platforms for course scheduling, degree planning, and other key supports that help our students attain their goals. Our fiscal year 26 investments in new and continuing academic programs delivered by U of M's outstanding faculty keep U of M at the forefront. In fiscal year 26, the Ford School of Public Policy and Marcel Family School of Education will each launch online master's programs, offering professionals in these fields a flexible way to expand their skills, accelerate their careers, and lead boldly in public service. Last month at commencement, the program for Computing and Arts and Sciences graduated its first students from its 2 minors. LSA is deepening its investment in this program, preparing students to analyze, critique, design, and invent with technology, regardless of their chosen fields. Of course, we know that a life-changing education is only as valuable as our population's ability to afford it. 8 years ago, at a meeting just like this one, U of M was proud to announce the Go Blue Guarantee. This promise clarified U of M's long-standing generous aid policies, encouraging more of our state's college-bound students to recognize that a U of M degree was in reach financially and that U of M's campus was a place where they belonged. Over the years, U of M has expanded eligibility, and we're proud to be a leading public institution in this arena. We thank the Regents for their unwavering support for this guarantee. The fiscal year 26 budget funds our recently announced expansion of eligibility and increased awards to cover full cost of attendance in critical workforce areas. Graduates of our Wolverine Pathways program are also eligible for a tuition-free Michigan education. We have pledged to expand this pre-college program, meaning even more students in our state will have access to this opportunity and its free tuition promise. With these enhancements to our programs, U of M leads U.S. public universities in expanding access and addressing critical workforce needs. We approach human health and well-being with a commitment to meeting the public health challenges facing our society, as well as needs within our campus community. The Biointerfaces Institute focuses on the juncture between physical and biological systems to generate high-impact biomedical innovations. This collaboration between medicine, engineering, pharmacy, and dentistry leverages our world-class strength in interdisciplinary research. Since 2012, Biointerfaces has earned 119 patents and launched 25 companies. We commit funds to renew equipment for this ongoing endeavor. We continue to grow U of M's adaptive sports and fitness program, increasing participation among people with and without disabilities. This budget extends the support for adaptive coaches and helps cover increasing operating expenses, leveraging generous gifts from donors to grow this exciting opportunity for all. U of M School of Nursing continues to expand its reach in nursing education, research, and practice to advance health. The fiscal year 26 budget invests essential resources to meet the needs of strategic enrollment growth in their top-ranked programs. Students graduate in high demand and are well-positioned to provide excellent patient care and fill critical workforce needs. Democracy, civic, and global engagement thrive across our campus. The Ross School recognizes business as a powerful force for change, and their Business Plus Impact initiative features numerous programs through which faculty, students, and staff can connect with communities. The fiscal year 26 budget expands this key investment, engaging more students from across campus to make a positive impact in Detroit. Our immensely successful UMich Votes initiative is ongoing because we know the important work of voter engagement extends beyond election cycles. The Creative Campus Voting Project demonstrates a truly Michigan approach of interdisciplinary, evidence-based innovation. This nonpartisan effort uses design research to promote civic engagement and help students become capable and informed voters. Our investments in sustainability across our campus are reflected in university operations, as well as in our education and research programs. In fiscal year 26, we expand our investment in our fleet of electric buses and their long-term upkeep and maintenance. In the coming year, we will also increase cross-campus curricular activities in sustainability and climate action, partnering with faculty to accelerate climate and sustainability education. This budget includes additional support for the College of Engineering's Electric Vehicle Center. This exciting partnership with the state of Michigan brings together electric vehicle technology and talent to accelerate the future of electric mobility. U of M could not be a preeminent university if it weren't for the accomplishments of our world-class faculty and the hard work of our staff. Their dedication to our mission keeps U of M strong as we navigate uncertain times. Our fiscal year 26 budget includes a modest merit program to recognize their contributions. Our community requires a safe environment in which to work and learn. The budget makes crucial investments for the protection of our physical campus. Another high priority is our digital infrastructure and the strategic IT transformation project. This budget makes investments in the required technology, software, and related services to conduct our operations securely and efficiently, and to support research, instruction, and innovation. Let me now turn to our proposed tuition rates for the coming year. The budget is based on a recommended tuition and fee increase of 3.4% for in-state undergraduates. Rates for out-of-state undergraduates and graduate programs increase 4.9%, with a limited number of differential increases for specific graduate programs. The University Health Service fee will increase by $16. A new student recreation and wellness fee of $150 per year is also included. This fee is designed to support the operations of our new Hadley Family Recreation and Wellbeing Center, which is slated for completion in fall of '25. Both of these fees are built into the proposed combined rate increases that I've just mentioned. Housing rates are proposed to increase by 6% as part of a 10-year plan to enhance the student residential experience, addressing rising costs and build capacity. I want to outline what our sustained attention to affordability and investments in financial aid has attained. 59% of our resident undergraduates do not pay the sticker price. Their cost to attend the University of Michigan is less, thanks to grants and scholarships. 33% of our resident undergraduates pay no tuition at all, and the average cost for a family with an income of $120,000 or less is lower than it was a decade ago after adjusting for inflation. To continue this priority, the fiscal year 26 budget increases the central undergraduate aid budget. This funds the expanded Go Blue guarantee and assures that we can continue our practice of entirely offsetting the tuition and fee increase for resident students who receive need-based aid. In our budget planning, each component of tuition and fees is set separately after careful consideration of costs and programmatic needs. Here we provide a more detailed look at the components of our resident undergraduate proposal. Relative to last year's tuition and fees, our recommended tuition for resident undergraduates is an increase of 2.5%, in line with the current annual rate of inflation. I'd like to share a few other highlights from our balanced budget. The state budget process is ongoing, so we await news on what the state appropriation will be. State funding is vital to our operations, and we remain hopeful that our budget will include sustainable levels of investment from the state. We're deeply grateful for the longstanding partnership as we work together to advance our mission of teaching, research, and service. We project that our indirect cost recovery revenues will decline in fiscal year 26, the result of federal actions and a slowdown in research awards. Our commitment to research remains steadfast because we know its value in fueling the innovation and discovery that is vital to our world and the shaping of our future. We'll continue to work with all our funding partners to demonstrate the enduring value and impact of research at U of M. I've spoken of our commitment to financial aid. The fiscal year 26 budget funds $409 million in central financial aid, with schools and colleges adding additional support. The budget includes more than $33 million in cost containment. This exercise in fiscal discipline is built into the annual budget process of every general fund unit, and it substantially reduces the pressure on tuition. Supporting this proposed budget means the university can meet its mandatory costs, provide crucial incremental resources in academic programs, research, and operations, continue our commitment to affordability, and make meaningful investments in our ongoing academic excellence. As we face the year ahead, we continue to assess the potential budgetary impacts of federal actions. To ensure the university's strength and resilience, we've been monitoring expenditures, modeling budget reduction scenarios, and discussing strategy with leadership at every level of the university. Amidst this backdrop, our fiscal year 26 investments deepen the strengths that allow the U of M to weather challenging periods. Our success as an institution relies on the hard work and dedication of the university community. I would like to thank our faculty, staff, and board members for your steadfast commitment to uphold the excellence of this world-class institution. And in particular, I'd like to extend gratitude to the Provost Budget Team, who ensure our resources are carefully and strategically deployed to make our efforts possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McCauley. Are there any questions or comments on the Ann Arbor budgets? Okay. Next, U of M Health President Miller will present the U of M Health budget. President Miller.
Thank you very much, President Grasso, members of the Board of Regents, executive officers. I'm David Miller. I'm the president of the University of Michigan Health, and it's with tremendous gratitude that I'm here today to present the budget for University of Michigan Health. And before I start, I want to first recognize and thank Marshall Runge, the Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs and CEO of Michigan Medicine for the last 10 years, who's been an exemplary leader, mentor for all of us at Michigan Medicine. So thank you, Dr. Runge. And I also want to thank our team members, the 30,000 employees at University of Michigan Health, faculty, staff, learners in Ann Arbor, and at our member systems across the state who bring so much of themselves to their job every day on behalf of our patients and the communities we serve. And I always start with our mission, this concept of advancing health to serve Michigan and the world, because I think it matters. And as we present our budget, as President Grasso mentioned earlier, a budget in many ways is a representation of the aspirations of an organization to advance its mission, to make a difference in the world. And when I see our mission and the concept of advancing health to serve Michigan and the world, I think there are a few key points. The first is this notion of advancing health, which is the idea of how do we continuously improve as an academic medical center, an academic health system, a healthcare delivery organization. I believe we're a great academic health system, one of the best in the world. But I also believe we can continuously improve, and our budget reflects that commitment. At the same time, our mission of serving Michigan and the world, our budget reflects the extension of our clinical delivery system into more communities in the state to meet the needs of patients in the communities we serve across the state. And finally, the world, the ability of Michigan medicine to innovate, to bring new discoveries, new educational programs, new approaches to community engagement, representing the net consequence of the expertise of our faculty, our staff, our learners, and what they bring every day. So as we talk about our budget, I think it's important to put it in the context of our mission. And how do you operationalize that? And this slide reflects a few of our key priorities. We have a set of strategic priorities that we believe represent the opportunity to both express and live our values and to achieve our goals. We reference these as our base priorities, where the B is belonging, A is access, S is safety and quality, and E is experience for our patients and our team members. And our budget is intended to support our progress, that concept of advancing health in each of these areas. And I'll share a few examples during the presentation. We're also deeply committed to the concept of clinical integration. If we seek to have sites of care in different communities, our commitment and our responsibility is that we're achieving a consistent standard of care in those communities and that we're meeting the needs of the communities through approaches like building local clinical programs, coordinating care for our patients across the state, and being excellent stewards of healthcare resources by advancing population health. We also look forward to continued strategic growth and partnership, making an impact in more communities, learning from others, building strength together. But all of this, at the end of the day, has to advance our mission across all elements of our tripartite mission: our clinical care, our education, our research, our community engagement. That's our commitment at Michigan Medicine. We've made some progress this year, even as we strive to improve. For belonging, we've reduced established disparities in pediatric immunizations and in the care of adult patients with high blood pressure. Access, perhaps one of our greatest challenges and opportunities. We've been able to safely reduce length of stay for our adult inpatients in a way that allows us to accept the next patient into the hospital for the exemplary high complexity care that we're really only able to provide as the leading academic medical center in the state. We've also improved our ambulatory access, new patient visits in 11 specialties through significant teamwork, creativity, collaborative problem solving across the entire organization. Safety and quality in many ways defines us at Michigan Medicine, and we've been able to achieve further reductions in patient harm events for patients cared for in our hospitals. And I'll share another example on the next slide that we're deeply proud of and deeply committed to at Michigan Medicine. The experience of our patients and the experience of our team members, the latter our greatest asset. We're looking for ways to reduce administrative burden based on feedback from team members, and those efforts are reflected in our budget. And of course, growth. 3 weeks ago, we celebrated the opening of the new Ypsilanti Health Center. This was an incredible day for Michigan Medicine that represented a reemergence of a new and beautiful facility in Ypsilanti with expanded primary and specialty care services and a renewed and heightened commitment to partnership in the community. I would encourage and ask everyone to come and visit our facility at some point in time, see the care emerging, the partnerships emerging, and the impact. So I mentioned safety and quality, the S in our base priorities. I can't give a presentation from a healthcare system without a little bit of data, so thank you. This is a chart that shows mortality. Obviously, a significant outcome for any patient from sepsis. Sepsis is a severe infection, one of the most significant outcomes that can occur in a hospitalized patient. We've been focusing on this for several years. And the way that you reduce sepsis is through one of our core values of teamwork and innovation and integrity, the early identification, the rapid treatment, multidisciplinary care for patients. And what you can see is as we've focused on this over many years, we've been able to progressively reduce levels that translate into actual lives saved. And recently, there have been several institution-wide grand rounds about this topic that really represent Michigan medicine at its best. Multidisciplinary presentations with faculty, with staff, with learners, asking how is it that we can come together to tackle one of the most complex problems in healthcare delivery and actually start to build momentum and succeed. So I'm deeply grateful to be part of a team that's concentrated in these areas. I mentioned this concept of clinical integration, this idea of as we grow, how do we stay true to our commitment and hold ourselves accountable to our commitment of providing the right care in the right place at the right time for more members of our communities across the state. And we show a diagram here, but the concepts are important. That doing this requires that we're intentional about expanding local programs, about coordinating statewide care, and around the outside about that commitment to quality and safety. I always say that when you walk into a building with the Block M, we have to believe that we're doing the right thing and doing it well. And I'll give just one example. Shown in this picture is a faculty member from here in Ann Arbor and 3 of our faculty at University of Michigan Health Sparrow in neurosurgery, recruited over the last year to truly transform a program in a community that was missing this service for patients with highly complex neurosurgical conditions. This has resulted in a meaningful improvement in access and quality that's both measurable and experienced in stories from patients, physicians, providers, and members of the community. Certainly trying to live into our commitment to the right care in the right place at the right time. Have we gotten it perfectly every time? No. Are we intentional? Yes. And will we continue this process and progress in the days, weeks, years, and months ahead? Absolutely. And so our budget represents our commitment to continuously improving access. And what we show here is that growth between our fiscal year 24 budget in blue, our fiscal year 25 forecast in maize, and our fiscal year 26 budget in green. And what you can see is more care for more patients in more places, so that in fiscal year 26, we'll be providing care that includes nearly 100,000 inpatient admissions and nearly 5 million ambulatory or outpatient visits across more than 200 locations. Meeting the needs of as many patients and communities as we can, where they live, in ways that improve the health of our communities. Putting those numbers behind it, the investments in our programs, in our teams, in our facilities, and the work we do together is shown here. We anticipate at the end of fiscal year 25 an operating margin of close to 2.7% or $233 million. And that operating margin is accounted for in our aspirations as an organization, in our investments in our teams, in new programs, in new facilities, like I mentioned in Ypsilanti, that improve and enhance patient care and experience. And as we look ahead to next year, there are headwinds. Provost McCauley described them. They're in healthcare reimbursement, they're in research, they're in ever-increasing expenses in pharmaceuticals and supplies. And our budget reflects that. We present an estimated operating margin for the entire University of Michigan health system of $149.8 million, or 1.7%, on operating revenue of nearly $9 billion. This represents the established and the potential risks that exist across many aspects of what drives our revenue and what drives our expense. But at the heart of it is the commitment of our teams to the care that's been presented in the slides before this one. Because at the end, it is that demand for the services, and it is the unique and extraordinary ability of our teams to provide that every day, 24/7, 365, forever, that will allow us to navigate these challenging times and continue to advance our tripartite mission of education, research, and clinical care. And so we'll move forward together, advancing our base priorities, focused on a foundation of clinical excellence, continuing to work to align and integrate across the entire state as we build the world's leading academic health system. We will continue to innovate across all aspects of our mission. It is who we are: education, clinical care, research, bringing discoveries new innovations, new hope to patients across the state. And finally, being an asset and a connection in communities across the state. Our goal is that as you go into almost every community in the state, you will meet members of that community whose lives have been touched, improved, influenced, or supported by Michigan medicine and the University of Michigan. I'm deeply grateful to be part of our team. I want to recognize and thank all of our team members in Michigan medicine, and we're deeply grateful to be part of the University of Michigan. Thank you very much, and go Blue.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Are there any questions on the U of M health budget? Thank you. Chancellor Alexander will now present on the U of M Flint budget.
Thank you, President Grasso. U of M Flint campus proposed general fund balanced budget contains no anticipated increase in state appropriation. However, we are committed to a $2 million increase in financial aid to support student success. We're proposing an undergraduate tuition increase of 4.9% and a graduate tuition increase of 3.5% for most programs. We also propose a 5% increase for housing and dining. The increase in financial aid that I spoke about takes into account the proposed tuition increase, the enrollment increase of fiscal year 25, and the predicted increase in enrollment for fiscal year 26. This plan also prioritizes funding to support merit increases for our outstanding faculty and staff, as well as funds to support operations to accomplish the goals and priorities that support the mission and vision of the University of Michigan Flint campus. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor. Are there any questions about the U of M Flint budget? Okay, next, Chancellor Scarlatta, I almost said Provost. Chancellor Scarlatta will present the U of M Dearborn budget.
Thank you, President Grasso. Got it right this time. Well, thank you, and thanks everybody for being here to listen to my presentation. I'm pleased to present a balanced budget that is aligned with the mission of UM Dearborn and our top priority, which is student success. I just have a couple of highlights. The proposed 2025-2026 general budget reflects a flat rate appropriation. Approximately 92% of our current state appropriation will be utilized for financial aid in the upcoming year. It includes an undergraduate tuition increase for full-time lower division residents of 3.8% and lower division non-residents of 3.9%. We created a new simplified graduate tuition rate, a structure that is aimed at providing a simplified all-together program for the marketing of our Dearborn campus graduate degree programs, just to make it simple to understand. There is no increase in student registration fees per term. And finally, this budget includes funding to support a faculty and staff 3% merit increase and new resources, which will directly support the daily operation and scholarly mission of the U of M Dearborn campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Scarlatta. Are there any questions on the Dearborn budget? Okay, next, EVP Chattis will comment on the athletics budget and the university's revenue and expenditure operating budget.
Thank you, President Grasso. This information item provides a summary of the athletics budget for fiscal year 2026. The athletic department will receive $15 million in support from the university to balance the budget. Overall budgeted revenues and expenditures are approximately $266 million. For fiscal year 26, budgeted revenues are about $4 million higher than fiscal year 25 forecast. This increase is primarily due to a $15 million transfer from the university and a $6 million increase in conference distributions, which together offset a $19 million decrease in ticket revenue resulting from 2 fewer home football games. On the expenditure side, the budget includes $20 million in new student athlete revenue sharing dollars, as well as $6 million in new student athlete scholarships. No action is needed for this item. On behalf of President Grasso, EVP McCauley, EVP Runge, and myself, I submit the fiscal year 26 operating budget to the board for approval. This operating budget reflects continued investment in our core missions and student support, including financial aid. The development of the budget took into consideration the unique attributes across the entirety of our organization while ensuring sufficient coverage of operating expenses, prudent investment in infrastructure, and debt service. The university's long-standing strong financial position continues and was recently validated by Standard & Poor's, reaffirming our long-term bond rating of AAA with a stable outlook. I recommend this budget for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, EVP Chattis. Are there any questions regarding that presentation on operating budget, revenue, and expenditures? Okay. Before we move on, I would like just to note that we have targeted our entire state allocation of $424 million to student financial aid. We are also supplementing this amount with our own internal investment of another $600 million for a total of over $1 billion that is directed to student financial aid. Our hope is that the state of Michigan sees the value of higher education and especially the impact of the University of Michigan on our state's economy and its residents. Is there a motion for approval of the fiscal year 2025-26 revenue and expenditure operating budget, which includes all of the budgets presented today?
So moved. Support.
Second? Any discussion? Regent Myers, did you want to?
I just had a comment I'd like to make if I could. And thank you for yielding the time. Thank you for yielding the time before the vote. Under the Michigan Constitution, the two primary duties of the Regents are to control and direct all expenditures of the university funds, along with electing a new president of the university as often as necessary. I didn't think I'd be performing both of these duties in my first 6 months of my term. Our charge today is approving the budget for the university's upcoming 2026 fiscal year. In my first budget process, I witnessed great teamwork and real focus on cost containment and fiscal discipline. I want to commend everybody involved in the assembly of this document for passage today, including my fellow regents at this table, along with the administration and their teams. This is not easy work. The budget ensures the continued support of students through investments in student success, key supportive services, targeted programs in schools and colleges, and through our continued development of online courses and programs. In addition, the budget supports our esteemed faculty and dedicated staff through merit programs, bargained for increased adjustments to benefit programs, all of which are tools of attracting and retaining our talented and dedicated team members. And as we all know, these are difficult and disruptive times in higher education, thus making the budgetary process even more challenging. No budget is perfect, but with hard work and especially compromise, we are bringing in a budget that I can vote in the affirmative. This budget that is before us addresses two important issues for Michigan families. First, controlling the cost of attending the university, and secondly, addressing the challenge of financial access for individuals that have met our demanding admission requirements but lack the financial resources to attend. I'm pleased that this budget will hold the tuition increase less fees for resident undergraduates to just 2.5%. That's right, 2.5%, which is 40 basis points less than the Bureau of Labor and Statistics CPI for 2024, which was 2.9%. This budget also ensures that our resident undergraduates who rely on aid to attend will not see a tuition increase. But for me, the highlight of this budget is the investment we are making in opening access for students. We are lowering the financial bar to attend by expanding the Go Blue Guarantee to offer free tuition for admitted resident undergraduates with families making less than $125,000 per year with assets of less than $125,000. It will also offer complete cost of attendance for some other majors. The real focus on affordability and assistance in this fiscal 2026 general fund budget. A few of the highlights, as previously noted, 59% of resident undergraduates will pay less than the stated price. 33% of resident undergraduates will pay no tuition. And again, resident need-based aid recipients are fully protected from tuition increase. And lastly, this budget makes a substantial investment in financial aid, increasing the undergraduate central financial aid budget and the total central financial aid budget to $409 million. Thank you again for everyone who participated in this fiscal 2026 budget, and thank you for yielding the time.
Thank you, Regent Myers. Regent Acker?
Thank you. And first to Regent Myers, thank you for voting on your first budget. This only gets more fun from here. I just wanted to quickly comment on the budget and why I'm voting yes this year. One of the things that I'm most proud of, in addition to the expansion of the Go Blue Guarantee and Wolverine Pathways, which we've talked a lot about, is this idea of the graduate guarantee moving forward. Serving the state of Michigan is one of our most important roles at the university, and these areas that we've targeted, whether it's social work, whether it's nursing, whether it's education, are important to the future of the state of Michigan. So while I plan on voting yes on this budget this year, I hope that as we move forward, we continue to think about these important jobs for the future of Michigan and make sure that we continue to serve them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
I just like to make a quick comment.
Regent Hubbard?
Yeah, thank you. I too plan to vote in support of this budget, and I really wanted to point out even more than my colleagues already have, this distinct focus on students from Michigan. We are talking a lot about our global impact, our national impact, but we must always remember that it is the taxpayers of Michigan that are supporting us in a very significant way. And the moves we're making today to increase financial aid are primarily focused on students with talent that are coming here from this state, families that pay taxes here and support us in many ways. And I'm very proud that we're able to expand our support of them in exchange for their support of us.
Thank you, Regent Hubbard. Are there any other comments? I would now like to call for a vote on the budget. All in favor indicate by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We now continue with our meeting agenda and Regents Committee's reports, beginning with Finance, Audit, and Investment Committee. Regent White.
Thank you, President Grasso. The FAI Committee met this morning, including Regents Bernstein, Hubbard, and Myers, and we met with our Executive Vice President and CFO Chattis for financial overview report of the fiscal year 26 audits and other financial matters.
Thank you. Next, we have Health Affairs, Regent Beam.
Thanks, President Grasso. The Health Affairs Committee, including myself, Regents Brown and Bernstein, met with EVP MA Runge and U of M Health President Miller for an update on the U of M health system and various financial matters. The committee also received a number of informational reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final committee report is Personnel, Compensation, and Governance Committee, Regent Illich.
Thank you, President Grasso. The committee, including Regent Acker and White, met with Provost McCauley, Vice President Kinsey, and the School of Nursing Dean Patricia Hearn for a conversation on the School of Nursing. The dean acknowledged how important it was for the School of Nursing to with the program of the extended Go Blue Guarantee, and that it will impact 85 students in the School of Nursing. She also reported that 100% of our nursing undergrads are employed when they graduate, and 57% of graduates go on to work at Michigan Medicine. So I'd like to give a shout out to all of our nurses at the University of Michigan. Thank you for your great work. We also met with Central Student Government President Eric Veal for a conversation about his plans for the coming year. We're very excited for his leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Illich. Next, Regent White will present a Regent's resolution in honor of Dr. Marshall Runge, as this is his last meeting in his current role as Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs. Regent White.
Dr. Marshall Runge, MD, PhD, who has served as the Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs and CEO of Michigan Medicine since March 2015, and Dean of the Medical School since January 2016. And he's retiring from these leadership roles on June 30th, 2025. Dr. Runge is the first in history to serve in all three of these leadership roles at the same time. He will remain a professor at the University of Michigan faculty. Dr. Runge graduated with honors from Vanderbilt University with a BA in biology and a PhD in molecular biology. He has earned his MD from the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. And before coming to Michigan, Dr. Runge was executive dean for the University of North Carolina School of Medicine, the Charles Addison and Elizabeth Ann Sanders Distinguished Professor of Medicine at UNC Chapel Hill, and chair of the UNC Chapel Hill Department of Medicine, and principal investigator and director of the NIH-funded North Carolina Translational and Clinical Sciences Institute. He has also held positions at Harvard's Massachusetts General Hospital, Emory University, and the University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston. During his tenure, Dr. Runge elevated the health system's transformative care and the extraordinary education offered at the medical school. He and his team also directed the greatest clinical growth of Michigan medicine in history, including the visioning, development, and deployment of the D. Dan and Betty Kahn Healthcare Pavilion, the Brighton Center for Specialty Care, the West Ann Arbor Health Center, and the Ypsilanti Health Center. He also marshaled two health systems into Michigan medicine: University of Michigan Health West in Grand Rapids and UM Health Sparrow in the Lansing area. These additions to UM Health System further increase the university's reach to deliver compassionate and expert care to Michiganders. Oh man, it's just incredible. In addition, Dr. Runge oversaw a profound period of innovation and growth at the University of Michigan Medical School. During his tenure, many significant and substantial investments were made to increase medical school research and lab space. Dr. Runge is a physician scientist who holds 5 healthcare-related patents, has authored over 200 publications, in addition to his fictional medical mystery novel entitled Coded to Kill. Marshall, you are a great friend to the University of Michigan. We are profoundly grateful for your outstanding service to the university. The Board of Regents wishes you success, fulfillment, and happiness in all of your future endeavors. And go blue.
Wow. I was going to ask if there were any other comments, so go ahead. Regent Illich.
I just want to thank you for your great service and thank you for saving so many lives. I can't imagine the number of lives you've saved. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Marshall, I would just like to add my sincere gratitude for the years that ever since I arrived, you've been on the Executive Officer Committee. You have been thoughtful and you've had a calm demeanor, and I've really enjoyed your sense of humor. So thank you for making those EO meetings a very worthwhile experience. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, of course. First, let me thank you, the Board of Regents, for this wonderful resolution. Serving in these roles has without any question been the pinnacle of my academic career. And over the past 10 years, it's been your leadership, your guidance, your partnership, and that of many university leaders, of our faculty and staff, And I've had the good fortune to work with so many leaders, including most recently President Grasso. And it's been that working together that has resulted in the fantastic organization that Michigan Medicine has become that Dr. Miller just described. So I'll admit that there have been times when I wondered what I'd got myself into. And the most memorable of those for me was March 1st, 2015, when I got in my car to drive to work, and I knew it was cold, but when the thermostat registered -10, I thought, my car is done. I might have to get a new car. But I didn't, seriously, I didn't know that car thermostats could register negative numbers coming from the South. So most importantly, I want to underscore the accomplishments that some of which I'll share today that are the result of the extraordinary talent, dedication, and collaborative spirit of our faculty, our staff, our learners, all of whom together exemplify the excellence that defines the University of Michigan. If I were to describe all the many advances we've seen over the past few years, I'd be here well into the night, or more likely, I'd be kindly escorted out of the building. So I won't do that. But I want to mention a few highlights. In research, we've seen amazing new advancements in technologies developed by our faculty, some of which have been presented here at this Regents meeting. And a few measures of this productivity include a really significant increase in NIH funding, where we're now ranked 9th, according to the most recent NIH funding figures, with a total of $838 million in total research funding. And our clinical trials have dramatically increased. Now we have nearly 2,000 clinical trials ongoing every year. These accomplishments really have been fostered and developed by Steve Kunkel, who's a fantastic leader in research for Michigan Medicine. In education, the medical school curriculum and the manner in which we train newly minted doctors have received lots of national recognition. We're one of 10 medical schools acknowledged to be leading national curricular transformation in medical education. 14 of our residency programs rank in the top 10 nationally, including the Department of Surgery, which Dr. Dimick would chide me if I didn't mention was ranked #1 among surgical programs in the United States. And in the coming years, I think you'll get a chance to see some great innovations that are coming forward in the training of physicians in primary care and preventive health, one of the greatest needs in the state of Michigan. In healthcare, we've had many highs, and Dr. Miller mentioned many of those, and so I won't go through all of them. But I'll mention a couple of facts. In the last fiscal year, we saw 611,000 unique patients here in Ann Arbor, which is a 40% increase since over the last 10 years, plus 667,000 more in UM West, UM Sparrow, and at other sites. We continue to be ranked highly by U.S. News and World Report as the #1 hospital in Michigan. The Mott Children's Hospital continues its outstanding trajectory and is one of the very best children's hospitals in the nation. So these achievements reflect a decade of intentional effort, mentorship, discovery, care, and vision. And I do want to thank the 3 remarkable leaders and friends whose partnership has been essential to our progress. Steve Kunkel, I mentioned, our Chief Scientific Officer, who really deserves the credit for the amazing growth in our research programs. Deb Weinstein, who is a great educational innovator who has now gone on to be president and CEO of the ACGME, which oversees all medical graduate medical education across the United States. And David Miller, our next EVP MA and CEO. You could not possibly have found a better leader anywhere. Plus, a special thanks to Quinta Vrede, my Chief of Staff, whose steady guidance and tireless support has been invaluable, and she's kept me out of so many questionable decisions. I owe her a debt of gratitude. Michigan Medicine stands strong, propelled by collaboration and shared by purpose. The future is in excellent hands. My comments could not be complete, however, without thanking my family. These are challenging jobs that I've been blessed by being married to my wonderful wife of 45 years, Susan, by our 5 children, their spouses, our grandchildren, which we now have 8, two of whom were born right here in Michigan, right here in Ann Arbor at Michigan Medicine. They have all been a source of joy and support throughout my career. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and forever, go blue.
Thank you, Marshall. We'll all miss you. Regent White will now call for the nomination of officers for 25-26.
This is such a great day. This is a great day. The Regents bylaws state that the positions of chair and vice chair rotate annually on seniority until all members of the board have had an opportunity to serve as chair or vice chair. Following this provision, I move the nomination of Regent Mark Bernstein as chair and Regent Michael Beam as vice chair, effective July 1st or today, 2025, through June 30th, 2026. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Motion
I'd
carried.
like a motion that clearly reflect that this begins on July 1st. 2020.
Thank you,
5 p.m.
Regent White, and congratulations, Regent Bernstein and Regent Beam. Before we go on to the consent agenda, we will vote on conflict of interest items, each of which requires 6 votes for approval. Does anyone have any questions or need to request recusal from voting on a particular item? Okay. Is there a motion to approve items 6 through 19?
So moved.
Support?
Okay. I need a show of hands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the motion carries. Thank you. Turning to the consent agenda, Chancellor Scarlatta has a report on U of M Dearborn.
Thank you, President Grasso. I'd just like to share a couple of highlights. In April, UM Dearborn was recognized as an opportunity university in the Carnegie Foundation's new Student Earnings and Access classification. Chancellor Alexander reported on UM Flint receiving this designation in last month's report. So we are proud to join UM Flint in this category. UM Dearborn and UM Flint are 2 of only 4 public universities in the state to have received this designation. 50% of our students are Pell eligible, and our graduates have the 4th highest median annual earnings among Michigan's 15th public universities, something that Tom alluded to in his presentation. While this is not a factor in the classification, we are very proud to say that 95% of our graduates who go on to jobs stay in Michigan, contributing to our local economy. So to Regent Hubbard's excellent point, they are going to be taxpayers in our own state. And then, as you know, we've announced several additional executive transitions following President Grasso's new appointment. I'd just like to share a couple of more. Dr. Ghassan Cridley, the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science, is now our interim provost. Dr. Amran Zakarian, the Vice Provost for Research, is now serving as interim Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Dr. Stein Brunwald, Associate Dean of Chess, is now serving as Associate Provost for New Faculty Development and Digital Education. And Associate Provost John Ramsky is serving as Interim Vice Provost for Research and Graduate Studies. So a lot of moving, but where we need to be. So I want to thank my colleagues at Dearborn. There is a real spirit of cooperation and camaraderie as we enter this new exciting phase at U of M Dearborn. And of course, we want to thank once again Chancellor Grasso for all his work and commitment to the UM Dearborn campus and to the University of Michigan as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. Now, Chancellor Alexander has a report on the Flint campus.
Thank you, President Grasso. First, the university's Department of Public Safety has received a competitive community policing grant from the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards. As a result, we have appointed our first co-responder, social worker, and community engagement manager, Martez Warren. This marks a significant step in the transition toward a more holistic, empathetic approach to law enforcement. Martez is a seasoned social worker, bringing more than a decade of experience in corrections, foster care, and vocational rehabilitation to the position. He also serves as a local pastor and community advocate. In his new position, he collaborates closely with officers, participating in daily briefings and joint responses to mental health crises and housing insecurity. We are excited about his plans to expand partnerships with schools, courts, and nonprofits to address the root causes of social and economic instability while fostering trust and unity within the community. Second, I'd like to mention Brianna Karlichek, a junior English major from Flushing, Michigan, has been awarded the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship, which offers international study and internship opportunities to Pell-eligible students. Named after the late Congressman Benjamin A. Gilman, the congressionally funded scholarship has been administered by the Institute of International Education since 2001, increasing its extensive alumni network to more than 44,000 students and professionals worldwide. Brianna will study at the American College in Athens, Greece during the spring 2026 semester, and we would like to congratulate Brianna on becoming a Gilman Scholar. Also, Greg Rybarczyk, Associate Professor of Geography, is co-leading a $610,000 National Science Foundation funded research initiative to enhance urban e-bike infrastructure and safety. And I did hear earlier when Provost Macaulay spoke about the great work and research going on here at Ann Arbor in this area. This project, which is scheduled to run through March 26, aims to develop a comprehensive socio-ecological framework to inform future urban planning by integrating social and behavioral theories with engineering models. So we congratulate Professor Rybarczyk on his research as well. And finally, our campus recently hosted the 5th annual Young Sharks and Junior Sharks entrepreneurship competition, welcoming more than 400 students from grades 3 through 8 to our campus. The annual competition culminates a year-long integration of entrepreneurship, economics, and innovation into existing K-12 curricula. Participating teachers attended a professional development workshop and led students through every phase of the entrepreneurial process, from ideation to development to the pitch. Students advanced through classroom competitions with winners pitching their ideas to panels of judges, including university faculty and industry professionals. Top teams received crystal plaques and gift cards. And we'd like to thank all of the faculty and students who participated, and we congratulate the winners of the Young Sharks and Junior Sharks Entrepreneurship Competition. And with that, President Grasso, that concludes my report. Go Flint and go Blue.
Thank you, Chancellor Alexander. Now we move on to personnel actions, and I believe Provost Macaulay has a supplemental personnel item. Provost Macaulay.
Thank you, President Grasso. I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of Linda D. Lisbeth as interim dean of the School of Public Health effective June 16th, 2025, until a permanent dean is appointed. Professor Lisbeth joined the School of Public Health in 2006 as an assistant professor of epidemiology. She has served as Senior Associate Dean, first for administration and then for faculty affairs since 2018, and previously served as interim chair of the Department of Epidemiology from February 2014 through August 2015. She was promoted to professor with tenure in 2015. Professor Lisbeth is widely recognized as one of the nation's leading scholars on stroke epidemiology and health disparities research. As such, she's published extensively and maintains a consistent and sustained history of grant funding, including her ongoing population-based stroke surveillance work in South Texas that has been collecting data since 2000. She teaches a range of epidemiology courses and enjoys a reputation as an innovative, extremely effective educator, mentor, and researcher with excellent course evaluations and dedicated service to her students. With a robust portfolio of experience as a scholar, teacher, and leader, I'm confident that Professor Lisbeth will be a great asset to the School of Public Health as interim dean.
Thank you, Provost McCauley. There are a number of retirement memoirs in this month's book, and I believe, Provost McCauley, you would like to make a comment as well.
Yeah, thank you again. I would like to recognize the extraordinary career of Professor James Hilton as he concludes his distinguished tenure at the University of Michigan. James is a visionary leader whose impact has profoundly shaped our academic landscape. James began his career at the university as an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology and a faculty associate at the Research Center for Group Dynamics in 1985. James served in a wide variety of academic roles until 2006, when he began his tenure as vice president and chief information officer at the University of Virginia, a position he held until 2013, when we were fortunate to have him return to the University of Michigan. Serving as university librarian and dean of libraries from 2013 to 2022, and serving as vice provost for academic innovation, James championed transformative initiatives that redefined the role of the modern library and academic innovation. Under his guidance, the U of M library evolved into a dynamic hub for digital scholarship, expanded open access publishing, and fostered collaborative preservation efforts. His unwavering commitment to inclusivity and innovation has left an indelible mark on our institution. During his time here, James was known by his colleagues as an extraordinary mentor and a great strategist. His students knew him as a committed and impactful educator, as evidenced by his Thurnow Professorship and his 3 Excellence in Education Awards from the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. As he begins this new chapter, we extend our deepest gratitude for his leadership and dedication.
Thank you. I would now like to ask for vote on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the supplemental items?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Moving on to finance and property on the regular agenda, Executive Vice President Chattis will introduce the next few items, beginning with 415 Church Street in Ann Arbor.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next item is 1206 and 1210 Washtenaw Court in Ann Arbor. EVP Chattis.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
You're getting ahead of me here. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 1045, 10455, and 10635 Textile Road, Ypsilanti Township. Is there a motion to approve? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next is Michigan Stadium approval of close proximity fireworks display. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? Motion carries. Establishment of orthopedic joint venture and sale of 1900 Metro Court and 1980 Metro Court, Wyoming, Michigan. EVP Chattis. Okay. Did you have anything to add to the other ones? Did I skip over? Okay. Thank you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. The next Executive Vice President Runge will bring forward a supplemental item. VP Runge.
Thank you, President Grasso. Today, we are extremely pleased to bring forward a most generous gift of $40 million to the University of Michigan from Kenneth Eisenberg. This gift is a continuation of the long history of philanthropic support for healthcare and research at Michigan to name the Francis and Kenneth Eisenberg Troy Center for Specialty Care and to support ongoing mental health research at the established Francis and Kenneth Eisenberg and Family Depression Center. This gift is being made through the Francis and Kenneth Eisenberg Charitable Foundation in honor of Francis's life and mission. She died and passed away last November. And for more details about this gift, I'll turn to Dr. Miller.
Thank you, Dr. Runge. And this is an amazing gift from Kenneth Eisenberg. And a $25 million portion of this gift is designated to support the construction of the new Troy Center for Specialty Care, which will be located at West Big Beaver and Coolidge Roads. Anticipated to open in the spring of 2027, the Troy Center for Specialty Care will bring more specialty clinical services from University of Michigan faculty and care teams to Oakland County and Southeast Michigan residents. The facility will include, among other services, advanced cancer care, musculoskeletal and sports medicine, and reproductive medicine. Other diagnostic and therapeutic services that will be offered include ambulatory surgery and procedure center, an infusion suite, and imaging services like CT, MR, and mammography. And I will say for the nearly 200,000 residents of Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County who travel every year between their homes in Ann Arbor, often for services like cancer care, this will be a transformational presence. We're so deeply grateful for the vision, support, and partnership of Kenneth Eisenberg and the Eisenbergs, and we look forward to advancing our healthcare services for the communities in and around Oakland County. Thank you.
Regent Illich.
Yes, I just wanted to comment and thank Kenneth Eisenberg and Nicole and Steve Eisenberg. The Eisenberg family continues to support the University of Michigan in such critical ways. It must be the day of saving lives today because all the money that they donate makes such a transformational difference in people's health. And so thank you for that. I'm very excited about this project. It's in Oakland County, as Dr. Miller mentioned. And so we're able to provide services to that area, which Michigan is not involved in at all. So it's really, really exciting. So thank you very much to the Eisenbergs.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
I just want to reiterate what Regent Illich said. The Eisenbergs have been incredibly generous, and the impact of all their giving over the years is humbling.
We are certainly grateful to the Eisenbergs for their generosity and vision. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. Conflict of interest items were approved earlier on the agenda. Next, we move to Section 10 and begin with the Henry Russell Lecturer and Henry Russell Awards for 2026, which are an item for information only. The Henry Russell Lectureship is the highest honor we bestow on a senior faculty member, and the Russell Award recognizes both exceptional scholarship and teaching and is one of the highest honors we bestow upon junior faculty members. Now we move on to the approval of the academic calendar for 2027-28 for the University of Michigan Dearborn. Chancellor Scarlata.
Nothing to add.
Is there a motion to approve?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Michigan Health Corporation Business Plan, EVP Runge.
Nothing to add.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And finally, we have a report from Eric Veal, President of the Central Student Government. Welcome, Eric.
All right, President Grasso, members of the Board of Regents, executive officers of this great university. It is my honor and privilege to speak on behalf of the student body as president of the 15th Assembly of the Central Student Government. My name is Eric Veal Jr. I'm a rising senior pursuing a dual degree in political science education with a minor in public policy. And although he cannot join me today, my vice president I serve alongside is Lucas Korn, who is a rising junior in political science. Together, we approach with ambition, purpose, and a deep care for student community we represent. Lucas and I understand that the scope of our vision is bold, but we intend to take clear, practical steps to turn goals into action. And we know we cannot do this alone. It is in collaboration, transparency, and trust that we can make real change to take shape. And that is exactly in the spirit we come today. Our administration's mission is shaped by 4 fundamental policy areas. We call them policy buckets, each built on a guiding question. These are not abstract categories. They are reflections of what students ask for every day. In class, residence halls, community space, they are pillars of our agenda. The first is affordability. How can we make campus life more accessible and affordable for all students? We will continue the groundwork our predecessors laid with the grocery bus program, providing accessible transportation to culturally relevant, healthy, and affordable grocery stores. We're working with Beyond the Diag to expand access to affordable housing. And for the first time, we've appointed a basic needs policy director to our executive committee, someone whose sole focus is addressing food insecurity and housing instability among students. The second, health, safety, and wellness. How can we enhance the well-being of every student on this campus? The physical, mental, and emotional well-being of students must remain a top priority. Our administration is advocating for the expansion of the rec sports and student legal service fee, not as a burden, but as an investment in comprehensive support. We are calling for more blue light safety systems, especially on North Campus, as well as better education around medical amnesty to better inform and protect students, and addressing campus accessibility issues to ensure all students can fully participate in university life. The third is advocacy. How can CSG amplify student voice both here at the university and beyond? We believe students should play a meaningful role in the search for our next university president. That process should not only include students, but should center them in every step. Students should be at the table, at every table this university has, because students are at the bedrock of what the university is. For this reason, we support the creation of a student seat on the Board of Regents. Having a student regent would provide consistent student representation and decision-making and reflect the university's commitment to valuing students' voice, not just in words, but through structural inclusion. Lastly, administrative accessibility. How can student government better reflect the students it serves? CSG must be a bridge, not a barrier. That means streamlining internal functions and giving students real, meaningful ways to interact with their government. Lucas and I are committed to fostering transparency, responsiveness, and humility in how we lead. Small shifts in how we operate can result in more students feeling seen, heard, and represented. Yet policy is not enough. It's only a part of our work. Equally important is building of relationships, including those between students and administrators, between governing boards, and among individuals. Since taking office, we've met with numerous leaders across campus, leaders whose insight and commitment are vital to our success. We're thankful for the time and support shared by Dean Blake Jones, Vice President Harmon, Athletic Director Manuel, Provost McCauley, many of you regents, and many others. We especially are grateful for interim President Grasso, who reached out to us on his first day of office, signaling his intent to work with students, not just for students. We extend an open invitation to all of you to attend assembly, executive meetings, join us for Welcome Week events, PIA Rep, our speaker series, festival, and so many more student events. You'll see that students are not only engaged, they're innovative, determined, and ready to lead. We also recognize the vital role that student orgs play, clubs, unit student governments play in shaping the student experience. Through the University Council and our partnerships, we'll continue to collaborate with these groups to ensure that the broadest range of students' voices are heard and supported. Therefore, We would be remiss if we did not in our commitment to the student body, if we neglected to acknowledge the state that we currently sit in. We are facing unprecedented challenges that Lucas, myself, and our team are tasked to navigate every day. Students are trying to learn, study, and grow in uncertainty in times, and it falls on us to respond with strength, compassion, and support for our students. With entire systems of education made vulnerable, we are committed to protecting all students and ensuring our campus community remains welcoming and safe for all, particularly international students, students from marginalized backgrounds, students with disabilities, and those affected by conflicts, and anyone seeking a path through higher education. We have passed resolutions to protect international students and other vulnerable communities. We're also making our government more accessible and transparent, launching new roles like Campus Community Liaison, who will oversee direct feedback initiatives such as town halls, interviews on the DIAG, exit surveys, and CSG-sponsored events. We are also stepping into positions among different campuses and beyond our campus. CSG passed a resolution calling for Big Ten administrators to establish a mutual defense compact, a pledge to stand together and defend higher education in these challenging times. We are piloting rideshare programs, advocating for flexible academic processes, and engaging in dialogue through the Wellbeing Collective Advisory Council. But at the core of our vision is a simple truth. All of our students do better when all of our students do better. Our work is grounded in that truth, and so must the university. Our administration has a busy year ahead, but it's with the support and collaboration we have real opportunity to make this year of tangible progress. A year that doesn't just respond to students' needs, but anticipates them, embraces them, and builds stronger university from inside out. Thank you, and go Blue.
Thank you very much, Eric. I'm looking forward to working with you and Lucas over this coming year. I know we're going to have a great working relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next.
I just wanted to echo that too, Eric. Thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure to meet you by Zoom recently. I really appreciate your coming and presenting that very well thought out agenda. Things I think we're looking forward, I in particular am looking forward to working with you on and keeping that door open to collaboration and discussion, and really appreciate how you're approaching developing this relationship, and I think it'll be very fruitful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to ask Vice President Kinsey to take us through public comments. Vice President Kinsey.
Thank you, President Grasso. We are now moving into the public speaker section of the meeting. As part of their regular meeting agenda, the Regents set aside time for individuals to present comments to the board. In keeping with reasonable and appropriate norms of decorum, all attendees, including speakers, should treat each other with respect and civility. Individuals who are approved to speak will be expected to speak to the topic that was submitted during the registration submission, truthfully disclose all relevant organizational ties during the registration submission, and promptly cease speaking after the allotted time. Speakers who do not adhere to these rules may be precluded from addressing the board or future public comment sessions. With that said, I'd like to call upon and welcome our first speaker, Robert Steen. Welcome, Robert. And when you're ready, you have 2 minutes to speak.
My name is Robert Stein. I'm a professor emeritus of physics and astronomy at Michigan State and a member of the Norwegian Academy of Science and Letters. There's been a lot of violent anti-Semitic acts recently in this country. I don't know what happened here at U of M. I was at the recent demonstration a month ago before the trustees meeting at MSU. I did not hear or see any anti-Semitic things there, unless you consider the slogan "Free, Free Palestine" as being anti-Semitic. Is the coming No Kings demonstration this Saturday anti-American? Were the protests against the Vietnam War anti-American? Are demonstrations against the actions of the Israeli government anti-Semitic? Let me quote from Hillel's online tutorial, Anti-Semitism 101. Quote, "What is not anti-Semitic? Criticizing the state of Israel or its policies, similar to one might critique any other government, isn't necessarily anti-Semitism. Disagreement with Israeli policies does not mean someone is stereotyping or discriminating against Jews. Supporting Palestinian rights or advocating for a Palestinian state is also not inherently anti-Semitic. Many Jews, both in the US and globally, are critical of Israeli policies. However, criticism becomes anti-Semitic when it relies on harmful stereotypes or targets a person's Jewish identity rather than focusing on their actions or decisions as a public figure or leader," unquote. It is the university's responsibility to protect its students, clearly. Is it also the university's responsibility to ensure that no student feels uncomfortable? Do you believe that every class should begin with trigger warnings? Do you agree with Florida Governor DeSantis that students shouldn't be taught about America's racial history because it makes some of them feel uncomfortable? Were you against young black people sitting in on white lunch counters because it made the white people there feel uncomfortable? Isn't it the job of any university to make its students uncomfortable by exposing them to new, sometimes upsetting ideas? I believe Israel has as much right to exist and defend itself as the United States. We're both settler colonial nations. Hamas' October 7th attack, where they killed innocent civilians, raped women, and took hostages, was immoral. It violated international humanitarian law and laws of war. But one crime does not justify another. Israel's blockade of all water, medicine, and food for the entire population of Gaza, including the hostages, for 3 months was also clearly a violation of international humanitarian law, possibly genocide as well.
You've spoken way over the 2-minute warning. You've asked us some rhetorical.
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
May I ask a question? May I ask you a question, sir?
Anyway, it pains me that my people are treating another people as less than human.
Robert, your time is up. So
Okay.
you have to return to your seat now. You're a couple minutes over.
Let me just finish with one thing. I have books here for each of the trustees that give some of the background of the last century from a Palestinian point of view. It might give you some idea of broader perspective on what is happening in the Middle East. If I could give them over and somebody would pass them down, I would appreciate that.
We'll take it from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. Am I talking loud enough?
Sorry, my hearing is not very good. I
Okay.
apologize.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us. My question is, there's always a lot of discussion on the definition of anti-Semitism. There's much written about it. What would be your definition of an anti-Semitism or an anti-Semitic act?
I think that the Hillel definition is really quite good. If you attack people because they are Jewish, if you use the stereotypes and tropes that have been used against us over the years, that's anti-Semitism. If you attack actions of a government, it's not anti-Semitism.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for the book.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, Marcellus Demps. Welcome. You have up to 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Sorry. My name is Marcellus. I've worked for the university since 2014 across several departments. I've never had a workplace injury or filed for workers' comp until December 20th, 2024, when I slipped in a puddle in a dimly lit hallway on my unit. The water came from a leaking wall, and there was no warning or visible hazard. I filed an incident report, was sent to the ER, and diagnosed with a leg injury. X-rays and ultrasound showed no break, but I remained in pain. I was put on workers' comp, but before getting a full evaluation, including a needed MRI, my claim was canceled. The MRI was delayed by a university doctor and canceled again before being rescheduled. When it finally happened, it showed I had an MCL sprain, fluid buildup, and a Baker's cyst, all from the fall. By then, workers' comp had been cut off without explanation. Despite being injured, I was expected to return to work, risking further harm to myself and patients I care for. Because I had no income and no benefits, I couldn't afford further treatment. I communicated this to HR, my supervisor, and work connections, and instead of being offered help, the university placed me on extended leave without input or communication, blocking me from unemployment, treatment, or support. This left me financially devastated. My car was repossessed, my bank account was closed. I couldn't see my children. Even my phone was disconnected. I shared my situation with my supervisor and union rep, including the fact that I was homeless at the time. I didn't feel heard. I felt discarded. After over 10 years of service, I'm asking for accountability, fair treatment, and benefits I was denied while injured on the job. My union, SEIU, is working with other unions on the medical and academic sides of campus to change the fact that many workers are denied fair treatment from work connections. Hundreds of workers have filled out surveys. Some had fair treatment and got the leave and job protections they deserved. The majority of us did not. We ask you help change that, please.
I have a question. Who have you been interacting with here at the university with respect to your injury? And I'm sorry you were injured.
What do you mean by?
Can you tell me a department? Tell us a department.
Work connections, specifically OHS. And
OHS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, Wayne Petty. Welcome, Wayne. You have up to 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Regents, officers, members of the public. My name is Wayne Petty. I'm an associate professor in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. I also chair the Faculty Senate's Committee on Oversight of Administrative Action. One area our committee has studied over the past 2 years is faculty grievances. You may have seen our essay about this in the March 17 University Record. Of course, the idea of a grievance is never pleasant to contemplate, but we can all recognize the need for internal procedures to resolve employment conflicts. The cases we described in the University Record and the one detailed in a recent Michigan Daily investigation show that something's wrong. Formal grievances can determine that administrative error or malpractice caused professors material harm, including losing their jobs, yet leave them with no means of redress other than the courts, usually at great financial cost and reputational harm to our great university. That happens when recommendations of a grievance board are disregarded, sometimes by administrators with no clear authority to do so, or who have conflicts of interest that are plain to see. Our committee welcomed Provost McCauley's appointment of a grievance task force to study our recommendations. Those recommendations include institutional support for faculty, steps to remove whatever currently skews the process in favor of administration, and above all, mandated steps to implement the recommendations of faculty grievance boards. But as you may have seen in an email from the SACUA chair to the faculty on April 30, the task force has so far fallen short of the ideals of a working partnership between faculty and administration that we need to remedy the broken grievance system. I urge the Regents to review that April 30 letter, along with the faculty governance communication from SACUA to your May 15 meeting, and act appropriately to support the implementation of fair and effective grievance procedures at our university. The documents to which I refer are public documents. I would be happy to share them with you, and I think reviewing them carefully will persuade you of the urgency to act. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wayne. I'd like to now welcome our next speaker, Newt Nadelhofer. Welcome, Newt. You have up to 2 minutes to speak.
Thank you. President Grasso, Regents, and executive officers, I'm Knut Nadelhofer. Excuse me. I'm a professor emeritus in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology and the former director of the Biological Station. I'm a systems ecologist and a biogeochemist with over 40 years of research on the global carbon cycle and its links to our climate system. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on behalf of Voices for Carbon Neutrality, or VCN. We're a group of faculty, staff, and alumni working to serve as a catalyst and accelerant to drive U of M forward on carbon neutrality. We've worked with many of you. As our nation's leaders avoid confronting a rapidly changing climate, which brings destabilizing effects on human health, our economic and food systems, the political order, and the biological systems that support our civilization, the university must continue uninterrupted progress toward eliminating emissions of climate warming gases. Our leadership can transform the university into a living laboratory and sustainable model for decarbonization of broader communities and institutions worldwide. To achieve this ambitious goal will require three things. First, significant upfront funding for decarbonization as approved by the Regents, and major fundraising activities embedded in the Look to Michigan campaign. Funding decarbonization, secondly, funding decarbonization of all three U of M campuses and other major U of M holdings such as outlying medical clinics, the U of M Center for Innovation in Detroit, and the U of M's 13,000-acre biological station in northern Michigan must be done. And I'd like to emphasize that our sustainability efforts across the state will serve as valuable demonstration resources for the broader public. Third, and finally, maintaining a strong focus on improving communication on carbon neutrality as our leadership changes. I only have one more thing to say. Inputs to VCN from our broader network and our faculty advisors have consistently and called for significantly more communication from the offices of the president, the provost, and deans regarding carbon neutrality and sustainability efforts, programs, and resources. In short, our leadership from the top is key to driving the cultural changes needing to drive true sustainability. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for your work in this important area. Thank you very much.
Regent Brown.
Thank you.
Professor, thank you for your words, and as a Northern Michigander, thank you for your work at the Bio Station.
Thank you,
Amazing leadership.
Regent Brown. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Okay, and now call upon our final speaker, Madison Austin. Welcome, Madison. You have up to 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Austin, and I'm a rising senior here at the University of Michigan. I was born and raised in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in a small town called Ishpeming, and I went to high school in the neighboring town of Negaunee. I'm a first-generation college student, and I was admitted to the University of Michigan as just one of 2 people from my graduating high school class. I'm here to represent 2 programs that I'm involved in under the College of LS&A, Intend to Attend, or I2A, which I'll refer to it as, and the UP Scholars Program, both of which I'm a part of. First, I would like to extend my gratitude to you all for the intent recently put into place to extend college access resources to the Upper Peninsula through programs like Wolverine Pathways and the Center for Educational Outreach, as I know firsthand the ways in which those communities are lacking in such resources. That's why I was drawn to I2A, because their mission was and continues to be to increase post-secondary access resources across high schools in Michigan, targeting those underrepresented and underserved communities. In this role as an I2A ambassador, I have been able to offer my unique perspective as a student from the Upper Peninsula, voicing the need for resources allocated to the area. Through this space, I initiated a liaison position for myself between I2A and the UP Scholars Program to streamline support directly to the UP. Through our partnership, we have piloted many avenues of direct outreach to the Upper Peninsula, made lasting connections, and have been able to reach many students from the UP. I believe the only way to continue with the momentum that our programs have been able to achieve in the Upper Peninsula is to continue to put at the forefront the perspectives of students from the UP like myself, who understand firsthand the resources that those students need. I welcome the opportunity to continue to share my insight and experiences along with my fellow students from the UP. We look forward to finding out what this expansion for college access into the Upper Peninsula would look like, and we hope to be a part of it. We hope that our connections and already established momentum will be taken advantage of and used to build on further and reach even more students who just need someone to understand their perspective. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, all the speakers have spoken.
Thank you, everyone. Our meeting is adjourned.